The wind howls, metal groans, and somewhere in the heartland, a structure stands defiant while everything around it trembles. You know what's fascinating? We spend our entire lives building fortresses we call homes, pouring our dreams into drywall and shingles, only to watch nature remind us, in one devastating afternoon, just how fragile it all really is. But what if I told you there's a breed of home that laughs in the face of 100-mile-per-hour winds? A structure so defiantly engineered that while your neighbor's roof is sailing toward the next county, yours is still exactly where you left it. Welcome to the world of storm-ready barndominiums, where agricultural grit meets architectural genius, and where the question isn't if the next storm will come, but rather, will you even notice when it does? Now, before you think this is just another story about glorified barns, let me take you deeper. Because what's happening in the world of barndominium design isn't just about metal and bolts. It's about a fundamental reimagining of what it means to build a home in an age where weather has stopped playing by the rules. Picture this. It's 2 a.m. The kind of darkness that feels thick, almost solid. Your phone screams that familiar emergency alert tone, the one that makes your stomach drop. Tornado warning. Severe. And while everyone else is scrambling toward their basement, their safe room, their bathtub filled with mattresses and prayers, you're actually considering whether it's worth getting out of bed. Because your home was born in the storm. See, traditional homes are built with an almost adorable optimism. Wood frames that trust the wind to be gentle. Shingle roofs that hope the rain will be kind. Vinyl siding that basically exists as a suggestion. They're built for the 99% of days when weather behaves. But storm-ready barndominiums, they're designed for the 1% of days when hell decides to visit your zip code. The secret starts with the skeleton, the bones of these magnificent beasts. We're talking steel frame construction, but not the delicate steel of your grandma's patio furniture. This is engineered steel, post-frame construction that creates a rigid frame capable of handling lateral loads that would make a conventional house weep. Each vertical post is anchored deep into concrete footings, sometimes going 4, 5, 6 feet down, grabbing onto the earth like the structure knows something's coming and it's not letting go. But here's where it gets beautiful, where engineering becomes almost poetic. The way these frames are designed, they work as a unified system. It's not just a collection of walls hoping to stay together. It's a continuous load path, a term that sounds technical but really means this. When the wind hits your home, the force doesn't find a weak point and tear everything apart. Instead, it travels through the entire structure, from the roof, down the walls, into the foundation, and then harmlessly into the ground. It's like watching a martial artist redirect force, turning violence into something manageable, something survivable. And the roof? Oh, the roof is where storm-ready barndominiums truly show their character. Forget those 20-year asphalt shingles that start shedding granules after the first decent hailstorm. We're talking standing seam metal roofing. And if you've never appreciated the genius of this design, let me paint you a picture. These roofs have raised seams, ridges that interlock panels together, creating a continuous barrier. The wind can't get underneath because there's nothing to grip. Rain doesn't puddle because the design naturally channels everything away. And hail? Hail hits this roof and basically admits defeat. But the truly ingenious part is in the pitch, the angle of that roof. Storm-ready designs typically run steep, anywhere from a 6/12 to an 8/12 pitch, which means for every 12 inches of horizontal run, the roof rises 6 to 8 inches. Why does this matter? Because when you're in the path of severe weather, debris isn't just falling, it's flying horizontally at speeds that turn a tree branch into a missile. A steep pitch deflects impact. It sheds wind. It refuses to give the storm anything to hold on to. Now, let's talk about something most people never consider until it's too late. The connection points. You know what destroys most homes in severe weather? It's not that the walls collapse or the roof disintegrates. It's that things separate. The roof lifts off the walls. The walls pull away from the foundation. the whole structure basically unzips itself. But in a properly designed, storm-ready barndominium, every connection is over-engineered. We're talking hurricane ties, structural brackets, through bolts that connect roof trusses directly to vertical posts, creating a chain of steel that would rather bend than break, rather twist than separate. And here's something that'll make you rethink everything you know about windows. In traditional construction, windows are basically holes in your armor, weak points covered with glass and hope. But storm-ready barndominiums approach fenestration, the fancy word for window placement, like a chess match with nature. First, impact-resistant glazing, which isn't just thick glass, it's laminated layers that can take a direct hit from wind-borne debris without shattering into 1,000 life-threatening shards. Second, strategic placement. Fewer windows on the sides most likely to face prevailing storm winds. Smaller openings where large glass would create vulnerability. And third, proper anchoring, where each window frame is secured not just to the wall sheathing, but directly to the structural posts themselves. But let's pull back for a moment and talk about something deeper, something almost philosophical. Why are people gravitating toward these storm-ready fortresses now, in this particular moment in history? It's not just about the increasing frequency of severe weather, though that's certainly part of it. It's about a shift in how we think about home itself. For generations, we've built homes as showcases, as statements, as delicate expressions of style and taste. But there's a growing movement of people who want their homes to be more than beautiful. They want them to be competent, reliable, trustworthy in the way your grandfather's handshake was trustworthy. A storm-ready barndominium doesn't just sit on the land, it commits to it. The foundation systems in these structures are often over-engineered by conventional standards, using either monolithic slab construction that creates a single, massive concrete pad, or pier and beam systems with deep footings that anchor to stable soil far below the frost line. Why? Because when the winds come and the rains fall and the ground itself starts to shift, you want a home that's essentially part of the landscape, not just resting on top of it. And the walls, let me tell you about these walls. They're typically using structural insulated panels or continuous insulation with metal sheathing, creating a thermal envelope that's airtight and incredibly strong. But more importantly, they're using proper moisture barriers, vapor control layers, drainage planes, all the invisible infrastructure that prevents water intrusion during those sideways rainstorms where precipitation doesn't fall so much as attack from every direction at once. Because a storm-ready home doesn't just survive the event, it survives the aftermath. The days and weeks of humidity and moisture that can turn a conventional house into a mold factory. Here's something most people don't consider. Redundancy. A truly storm-ready barndominium is designed with backup systems for critical functions. Separate pathways for water drainage, so if one gutter system gets overwhelmed or damaged, there's another route. Roof overhangs that not only shed water away from the foundation, but create protected spaces where walls stay dry. Strategic grading around the structure so water naturally flows away from the building, not toward it. It's like the structure has thought through every possible failure point and said, not today. The interior space, that vast, open cathedral of living area that barndominiums are famous for, that's not just about aesthetics. In a storm situation, that open plan means fewer interior walls to become projectiles, fewer tight spaces to trap rising water if flooding occurs, and clear sight lines throughout the home so you always know what's happening around you. It's protective by design, even when the design looks effortlessly spacious and welcoming. And then there's the beauty of adaptability. Storm-ready barndominiums are increasingly incorporating safe rooms, but not the claustrophobic basement bunkers of Tornado Alley lore. These are integrated spaces, often near the center of the structure, built with reinforced concrete or steel plating, with proper ventilation and communication systems, spaces that serve everyday purposes until they're needed for protection. It's the ultimate expression of practical luxury, a home that can transform from comfortable living space to life-saving shelter without breaking stride. But here's the twist, the thing that makes all of this even more remarkable. Building a storm-ready barndominium doesn't mean sacrificing style or living in some utilitarian bunker. The same steel that creates structural integrity also allows for massive, soaring ceilings and wide-open floor plans. The metal roofing that deflects hail comes in dozens of colors and profiles. The impact-resistant windows still flood your living room with natural light. You're not choosing between safety and beauty. You're discovering that when you build with genuine strength, beauty follows naturally, the way a well-made tool is always more elegant than a cheap imitation.